and only mode.
Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today for our latest webinar, 3 Easy Steps to Wireless Temperature and Relative Humidity Monitoring. My name is Coy Wagner, and I'm a Product Marketing Specialist here at Onset Computer Corporation. Before we begin, I just want to let you all know that we are recording this webinar, and we'll be posting it to our site later this week, as well as following up with each of you with a link to its location. Also, please feel free to type in your questions to the chat screen at any time. We'll get to as many as we can at the end of this webinar. So let's take a look at today's agenda. I plan on giving you a brief overview of Onset and the data logging options that Onset has to offer. We'll then dive into the HOBO Wireless Temperature and Relative Humidity Monitoring Kit. Throughout the webinar, I might refer to it as relative humidity, humidity, or RH, all interchangeable for this purpose. We'll then look at the 3 easy steps to wireless temperature and relative humidity monitoring and what it takes to get the kit up and running. We'll go over the software features to show you what our software has to offer when using this monitoring kit. We'll look at some case studies and then answer any questions that you might have. So let's begin. Onset is a world leader in data loggers with over 2 million loggers sold. Here's a picture of our facility located in Bourne, Massachusetts, where we house our 130 employees who do everything from think up, design, and manufacture the HOBO data loggers. We've recently made an addition to our facility by adding over 900 solar panels spanning both buildings. With this addition, we're now generating close to half of the energy needed to operate. So it's a big investment on the company's part, just showing that we're here to stay and going to be around for a long time. Here we can see the different options for the data loggers that Onset creates here, starting with our standalone data loggers made for simple and quick deployment to our web-based data logging systems that offer a wide range of wired plug-and-play sensors and offer remote communication via cellular, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet over to our wireless sensor networks, which we are going to focus on today. Our wireless sensor networks, or ZW series as we call them here, offer centralized data collection, which eliminates manual data offload to help speed up time gathering data. So moving right through the agenda, we're going to dive into the meat of this webinar, which is the HOBO Wireless Temperature and Relative Humidity Monitoring Kit. So why is temperature and relative humidity monitoring important? Well, to answer the age-old question, is it too hot or too cold? Or whether there needs to be some troubleshooting done to heating and air conditioning systems in order to tackle a comfort complaint. Monitoring museum and storage areas to maintain a stable environment. When the building automation system just isn't enough and you need more data points but don't want to add the cost. To help save you money by helping you create temperature setback strategies, and to prevent mold by being able to recognize and correct the environmental condition before it starts to be a problem. So what we did to help with all these items just mentioned was to create the HOBO Wireless Temperature and Relative Humidity Monitoring Kit. This kit is designed to monitor critical temperature and humidity conditions, log and trend the data for analysis, help you stay notified of an alarm condition that you program via text or an email, all without the hassle of wire or manual data offload, saving you money by saving you manpower. This kit can be used to track critical temperature and humidity conditions and is ideal for use in food processing plants, office buildings, laboratories, and warehouses. And by adding these measurement points to building automation systems can be expensive, and chart recorders tend to require a lot of maintenance. These units are relatively inexpensive, easily able to be spread over a large area to get you more data points. So what we've done is taken our wireless data nodes, or the ZWs as we call them, and put them into a kit to make it easier for you. What the kit includes is one ZW receiver, 3 ZW003 temperature and relative humidity nodes, a copy of the software, and all the accessories that come with the units when you buy them individually. So let's take a look at this kit a little more closely and what we've packaged together for you. These are the two nodes that come with the kit. First is going to be a receiver, which is the heart of the operation. The receiver has a buffer memory built in and can store up to 96,000 measurements. It has a range of approximately 100 meters or 300 feet, and that's usually line of sight, or depending if there's any kind of obstacles in the way. The max number of nodes supported is 100, so though we offer you 3 nodes in this kit, you're able to make that blast that out into around 100 nodes. And we use the wireless standard of IEEE 802.15.4 on the 2.4 gigahertz band. And that is the receiver part of the kit. Moving into the actual temperature and relative humidity part, you're looking at a node that has a buffer memory of around 4,000 measurements that can store on board, a temperature range of -4 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit with an accuracy of plus or minus 0.38 degrees, an RH range of 5 to 95% with an accuracy of plus or minus 2.5%. The batteries will last you around 1 year, and they are replaceable as they are just regular standard off-the-shelf 3 AAA batteries. So the 3 easy steps to wireless temperature and relative humidity monitoring is why we really put these nodes together. We wanted to give you the opportunity to get this up and running quickly and easily right out of the box. That way you can get a handle on the actual wireless technology and then eventually expand onto this as you can see the power of it. So what we have here is a diagram of a simple 3-node network monitoring the temperature and humidity of an office for your comfort complaint. You may be in a situation where you're getting complaints that a particular work environment is either too hot or too cold, and depending on your position, it may be critical to verify this or make corrective actions before a complaint is lodged. You might also have things written into your contract if you are a facility manager that particular offices have to maintain at a certain level. The temperature has to maintain at a certain level, and that if so many complaints are lodged, there might be a penalty or a fee on the rent that you are collecting. So it's critical that you monitor these particular points to ensure the profit of everybody. By wirelessly monitoring these parameters from a central location, so if you're the facility manager in this instance, you will have this at your desk and you'll be able to monitor what's going on in the offices that you are taking care of. You'll be able to easily see what is happening throughout the workplace in near real time and make the corrective actions or compile a report with the collected data to help validate a change in the HVAC system. Sometimes it's not easy to go and make that change to the HVAC system. You'd actually have to go and present this data to make sure that you're spending the money accurately and making the changes correctly. So to get down to the 3 easy steps of setting up this kit, as you can see here, we have our step 1, which is just configure the sensors with our simple setup software. Second step, which is the easiest step of them all, is connecting the receiver to your PC. And then step 3 is mounting the sensors wherever you need to collect the data. And what we're going to do, we'll just go through these steps real quick, and we'll break them down to show you how easy it is to set up this kit. First, we'll take a look at the HOBOware software that comes with the receiver, which is really the focal point of the system. Once you install the software, which will come as a CD, it comes with the receiver, you'll just need to launch the HOBOnode Manager, which is part of the HOBOware platform. This is the program that will be running your network. You can see here that when you start to form your network, you are presented with a clean slate to help you manage the creation of your network. Once this particular window is up, All you'll need to do is hit the Form Network key here, and after all the nodes are deployed, you'll be able to start, this section will start populating with all the nodes in your network. Here's an example of what HOBOnode Manager looks like when it's up and running. Here you can see that we are collecting temperature and relative humidity data. At the top, what we're looking at is the 4-hour view of the data in graph form, while below what we are seeing is the last readings that was sent out. You're able to select different views either by the sensor or by the measurement. On this one, it's chosen for measurement, so you're getting your temperature lumped together and the relative humidity lumped together. If you went by sensor, you would have each sensor laid out. You can also look at a 4-hour view, the day, a complete day, what you've done for the last week, and what you've done for the last month. And this particular graph will actually keep on growing as the data keeps on coming in, so you're going to be seeing it grow as it goes. So the HOBOnode Manager allows you to configure your nodes by allowing you to easily change your logging and connection interval with a simple drop-down box, or easily create custom intervals depending on your application need. You can also label the node to make it easier for you to understand the data that is coming in. And there are 2 ways that you can go about that. Within the HOBOnode Manager, you're able to click on a particular node and you'll get the first box that comes up. We're able to put a label onto that particular node, so wherever it is. Here, say Warehouse Zone A. If you have different offices, you can put it into the President's office or your accounting department. Then you can change the login interval and the connection interval. The login interval represents how often the node will take that temperature and store it in its buffer memory, and the connection interval is representative of how often it will actually send that information back to the receiver. You can either do that right through HOBOnode Manager, or you can go through the preference section of the HOBOware software and set up the interval that way as well, however you feel most comfortable working with the software. The next step is by far the easiest step in this whole entire process, and that is just connecting the receiver to your PC. I don't have any fancy graphic for that other than you're holding the receiver. It has a mini USB on one end and a regular USB on the other side, which will then plug right into your computer. Then you're ready to mount your sensors. Now that you have your software installed and the receiver is now connected, you can go and start to form the network, get the data nodes up and running, and start to deploy them where you're going to be tracking that information. With anything, there are tips and tricks to keep in mind when mounting these sensor nodes, and that's what we're going to get into with this portion. What you can see here is the signal pattern of a data node. This is just an easy way to show how these data nodes send out the information and how to get them to talk back to the receiver. So a lot of questions we get is where should I place them? What is the distance that I can get away from the receiver? And what we usually say, it's 300 feet depending on the obstructions, and this really shows how that signal is spread out. So what you would need to do is have the receiver somewhere within the coverage zone, as shown here, either on the 3D view or the top view. That's how to ensure you have the best signal condition. I find that this image really helps out when I'm trying to understand a wireless signal and actually being able to see that signal. Right back to the communication range that I just mentioned, you get approximately 150 to 300 feet, assuming that there are no obstructions or interference and that there's the direct line of sight between the device and the receiver. And what we have here is a simple graph just explaining what might be an obstruction and how much of a loss or degrade of that signal you might get. Obviously with air, you're going to get no loss. Some simple building materials, wood, plastic, glass, you're going to get a minimal loss of range. Communication is going to be fine. You start getting into some thicker materials like water and brick and plaster, you might have a partial loss of that signal, so the 300 feet starts to just come down a little bit. We also offer a router that you can use. We call it a router. It can also be referred to as, probably better referred to as a repeater. And what that will do is it will help to push the signal along where need be. If you have a large office space, or you're going through walls that are holding all your pipes, all the water going right through it. Going down to metal, which is going to be the hardest thing to get through. You probably will not be putting this into your safe to get the information out. Also, refrigerators will probably have a hard time getting through those doors as well. So those are the 3 easy steps on how to get it up and running. Once again, just to go over that real quick, it's adding the software onto your computer, plugging in the receiver, and then deploying the nodes. One of the main focal points of the whole network is the software which you'll be viewing the information from and all the features that it has to offer. So what we'll do right now is go through those features which really help to make the system robust. One of the main features that is used is the alarming capability. The HOBOnode Manager offers the alarm feature, which can give you either a visual or send an alarm notification via text message or an email. You can also have alarms set from the batteries are getting too low. If a node goes missing, maybe somebody knocked it down, all of a sudden decided to rearrange your office and put a file cabinet right in front of it, nobody knew where it was, or an elevator shaft had just appeared out of nowhere. These are the things that might block a signal or make a node go missing. And there's also a heartbeat alarm, which will give you an alarm every 12 hours just to ensure you that your system is up and running. And sometimes it's just a nice fact to know that everything is up and running, and this signal actually just ensure you that, give you a message every 12 hours just to make sure that you know it's there. Another feature that is widely used and sometimes not known about on the same hand is a data delivery option. So the data delivery function of the software enables you to save recorded sensor data from your nodes in your network to a single text, CSV, or Excel file on a regular schedule. This also allows you to store the data from your current data node network deployment for future references and analysis. You can then access the data remotely when you are away from the network and share data with others in a file that is distributed automatically via FTP or email, or save the data to a computer or network device. It also allows you to easily collect data from several different nodes using the HOBOnode Manager's Query Builder to create a unique data file to fit your project's needs. That last point, be able to create your own unique data file, I think is a great feature. You're able to take different nodes, different sensors, and create exactly what you're looking for at particular times. So you can create several different queries, so that way if on certain days you're looking to just get the temperature in some problem areas that you've been tracking over a week, every Friday morning when you come in, you can have that data file waiting for you. And then on other days, if you want to get certain people's offices, the temperature and relative humidity, maybe they're the ones who complain the most and you want to get that automatically sent to you, you can create a query to do that. And then this will just continue to build up these unique data files for these unique regions within the office. The other nice feature within the HOBOnode Manager is the HOBOnode Viewer. And what the HOBOnode Viewer is just another way to actually view your data. It's going to give you another way to look at it in a real-time form over a local area network, and that's something I can't help but stress enough. So what this will do is you'll be able to set this up and use any web browser when you're on that local area network and get a different view of the data. You're also able to distribute that URL to other people throughout the office, so that way they can also view that data in a different way. They're not just seeing the HOBOware version of it right on your desktop. It's another version they're able to look at and offload information as well. This feature here is our network mapping feature. And the network mapping feature helps you to keep track of your devices. You can also import a custom background image, such as a floor plan, any kind of area map that you're going to be using. Here we'll see an office building. And you can place the icons on the network map to help you track where you've located your devices. You can expand information balloons on the device to view the status information and sensor readings. So from HOBOnode Manager, there's some tabs up top here, plots. You would click on the map tab, and then you'll be able to then import your office scheme right into it. You'll then be able to drag the nodes around from where they are placed. When you hover over it, you'll get a balloon, and it will tell you what that particular node is doing. It's a nice feature. You'll be able to see that connection path, so you'll be able to understand the network that you have built. So here you would have your receiver, and if you were using the kit, you wanted to monitor what's happening in rooms 1, 2, and 3. Here's your office. You can place the nodes in these 3, and you actually see where they go coming back. You can then add other nodes, and then you'll be able to see that connection path, and then easily see what each room is like, what's happening in each room at that one particular time. Moving right along through today's agenda, we will now take a look to see how the wireless temperature and relative humidity monitoring has worked out in some real-world applications. Moving a little quicker than I thought here, but that's good. So hopefully you all have some good questions for me at the end. We can get a discussion going, and I can answer anything that you might have. Our first case study here is for a robotic storage facility. This is an ultra-modern, high-tech storage facility located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where exotic vehicles and rare paintings, historic documents, vintage wine, and other climate-sensitive items are stored. So we can see that this is important to monitor temperature and relative humidity. There's a lot of money being stored here in artifacts and people's possessions. So damage can occur if there's too much temperature. You got to be hurting that precious wine. The humidity will be damaging those documents. The system allowed them to monitor all of the items that they have stored from one easy central location, and they never actually had to enter the vault, if you will, or the storage facility. They're able to do this from their office. The vault also has a 70-ton robotic crane that is used to access all the exotic vehicles. So the wireless monitoring system helps to prevent costly disruption of any robotic activity and maintain the safety. Don't want to send anybody in while this is all moving around. So you want to be able to get that data out all the time without having to send somebody in to offload the information. Maybe they go in, didn't know people were moving this robotic arm around, moving a car, get hit in the head. It's just not a good thing. The next case study we're going to take a look at takes place at an archive where they are using the HOBO ZW series to wirelessly monitor environmental conditions to guarantee optimal storage for paper and digital records. In this application, they were not only monitoring temperature and relative humidity, but they also added on another node that enabled them to record information from some third-party sensors. The added parameters they recorded were air velocity and voltage. I wanted to add this in just to show you that though we're mainly talking about the temperature and relative humidity kit, we do offer a wide range of nodes, so you can expand on that over time once you determine what you need to be monitoring throughout your facility. They used a network of 9 nodes on the first floor and 6 nodes on the second floor, and they were using the real-time graphs and alarm notification to monitor their system. And once again, adding on, they have more nodes than the 3 nodes that come with the kit, but you can get up to 100 nodes on a network. The results of the monitoring pointed out several areas of their system that can be optimized, like turning up the cool aisle set point temps in order to reduce energy and giving them the information needed to suggest when to call the HVAC service to keep their systems running optimally. You can also use this to schedule things, the HVAC systems, instead of coming twice a quarter, maybe they come once a quarter. The data also validated the operation of their emergency generator and their uninterruptible power supply, allowing them to show their potential customers that their valuable data will be safe for them even if there is a power outage. So to summarize what we've talked about today in this webinar, Onset has released the HOBO Wireless Temperature and Relative Humidity Monitoring Kit, which is designed to monitor the critical temperature and humidity conditions, log in trend data for your analysis, and stay notified of alarm conditions via text or email. It's just 3 easy steps. You can get up and running, monitoring your data from that centralized location using the scalable, robust self-healing network. We also looked at the great features that the software has to offer and to help view, analyze, and get your data quickly, easily, and reliably. And although this webinar has focused mainly on our wireless and temperature relative hue monitoring kit, just please keep in mind that Onset offers a full range of standalone, station, and wireless loggers that can record a wide range of measurements listed here. And most of these measurements can be monitored as well with additional CW nodes to add on to your network. So what we'll do right now is open it up for any questions that you might have. Let's take a look here. And the first one is a dedicated PC necessary running 24/7. It is necessary. You will need to have, you can say dedicated, or it can be the PC that you're using on your desk. The program itself can run in the background, so you can go about your everyday work while this is running in the background, but you will need to have the receiver connected to a PC. See the next question. Hopefully I answered that one well. Is the data forward delivery option, in the data forward delivery option, what happens to the data if the connection to the FTP site or email is lost? All that information is stored on the PC. It builds a network in the background on the PC that you're running the software. So if the connection is lost, you still have that information. You're never going to lose your data that way. It's going to keep on building it up. You can also then have it schedule if there is a lost connection to try again until that connection is restored. Just going through here some more. Can the nodes communicate through each other? So if you have them all in a line, the network can extend past the 300 feet? Yes. Within the kit, you're also going to be, each node can operate in two ways, either the standalone or end node, which is just sending that information back to the receiver, or it can be turned into a router. So one node, either standalone or as a router. With the router, we do recommend that you apply AC power to it, just because you're going to be using more energy. And you'll be using to keep on pushing more data through it. So that if you have a larger network or you're pushing that information farther, if you have that AC power to it, you're able to kind of boost that signal along. So each node can be used as a router to help move that information. In a museum, let's see, next question here. In a museum with reinforced concrete structural walls, please elaborate on the use of repeaters to get the signal through. So there are a couple of ways we can go about this. You might, depending on how thick these walls are, you might be able to have a repeater on either side right up against the wall. So that way you're almost, that signal pattern that we looked at would be going through the wall, and then you're going to have one on the exact opposite side trying to catch that next signal. If it is depending on the thickness, that might not even work. So you might have to try and go around a different manner, either out down a hallway, up an elevator shaft, or some way to get around that wall, really depending on the thickness. Going through floors, sometimes you can see that if you put a router very close to the ceiling and you put another repeater on the floor above, we're able to catch that signal and move it right around through the building. Great question. How much does the package start at? The kit is $8.99, which you're going to get. The software, the receiver, and the 3 nodes, and all of the mounting accessories. Once you have that, you'll be up and running, and then you can add on to that later on. So the network is expandable up to 100 nodes, but we priced this just right at $8.99 to get you up and running to start using the information. Another question, what is the type of hardware mounting on the nodes? The nodes themselves on the back, you can either, we have the plate that covers the batteries can either be mounted directly to a wall. We have there's some screw holes in there so you can just mount it right flush to a wall. We have another bracket so that can be screwed to a wall as well. And then the bracket itself allows you to move the node in different directions. So that way you can move that signal around and try and get that signal back. Okay, and another question here is, how long has the product been on the market? The ZWs have been on the market around 3 years, and they've found their homes in many different applications that range from, we have some power monitoring in some instances just to regular temperature monitoring. And we've decided just to kind of put it together and try and focus a little bit more on the temperature and relative humidity to hit what, some of our biggest sellers. See, I have the HOBOware software version 2.7. Can I use this software for the HOBO Wireless, or do I need to buy another? You do not need to buy another. You can update that particular software for free, which we would suggest doing. Right now we're at HOBOware version 3.4, so you can just go to the website and update that version of your software and you'll be good to go. I believe it's version 3.0 is when we incorporated the HOBOnode Manager into the software. So another question here, what are the other sensor node options and their prices? We're going from we have several different nodes, from this is just the internal temperature and relative humidity to a 4-channel analog, which will take in either just 4 temperatures or 4 CTs. We also have pulse nodes. I'm going to go on real quick to our website here and just pull it up just to give you a look at all the different options that we have. So you can go right through our featured product part, and you'll see here here are all the other options, from a 4-channel, the temp RH, to an external temp RH with 2 external channels, that's adding the CTs on or other external temperature ports, to a single channel temperature, and you're ranging from $169 to $299. And all these can be added on to the network that you get with the kit. All right, we got time for one more question here. It says, I may have missed this, but I'm monitoring several buildings over a mile distance from my office. How do you set up this setting? What you would do with this particular incidence is you would actually have the network set up at that building, so you need to have your monitoring PC there. The network would then be running entirely at that particular facility. You can then take that information and you'll be able to FTP it or have it emailed out to you, which is a great function. So that way you can come in every morning and you can either have that email with your data, or you have an FTP site set up at your location. It will actually just feed that data right into that information. You won't be able to, or the other option is if you have a VPN into that building, you can hop onto that local area network and grab the information that way and view the information that way. So I just want to thank all of you for attending this webinar. What I will do is I'll follow up with the rest of the questions that I didn't get to. I'm sorry I didn't get to all the questions today. We do have training material up on our YouTube channel. So you can see the address right there. Some great information on how to use some of these software features. This will also be available afterwards as well. And here's all the contact information. You have my direct contact information, so if you want to contact me directly with any questions you might have, we have our technical support and our application specialist here that can answer any questions for you about the kit or about the products. So once again, thank you very much for attending this webinar. I hope this was informative for you all. We'll be following up once again with any of your questions that I didn't get to. So thank you. Have a great day.